addict. It's crazy.
That's
All right. Hello, everybody. How are you doing tonight? If you are watching live, say hi in the comments so we can say hi to you. Drop where you're watching from, what your clean date is.
It's Monday. Happy Monday. Every Monday, we are coming on here. We are talking about addiction. We are talking about recovery. We are talking about the solution. We are talking about the craziness and the darkness of addiction. So, you guys, we're so excited that you're here. It's so awesome. I feel like we have like such a loyal group who comes and hangs out with us every Monday.
Yes, we do. It's awesome. Hey, Lucy, how are you tonight? I'm so glad that we get to do this tonight because I was not sure if we were going to be able to do this. And after everything that's happened this week, it has just been so crazy here. Still, it's so crazy right now.
Yeah, okay, so Adam's friend from Fort Myers actually came. It was 3 days since he had taken a shower. So, because they had no electricity, so him and his girlfriend decided to come over here, and so they stayed in Athens, and we went out to breakfast, and oh my goodness, the lady, she worked on the beach, and her job is gone. Her company,
Wow.
she worked on a resort, and it's gone.
It is absolutely crazy. In Fort Myers, I mean, they're literally underwater. Fort Myers, Port Charlotte, Northport. I mean, they're literally underwater, and everything that was there, especially on the beach, it is just completely wiped out. So I guess what happened is the hurricane hit in the Charlotte Harbor and Sanibel Island. So if you look at a map of Sanibel Island and the way that it looked before, it literally is like maybe 20% of the inner part of the island is still there and the rest of it is completely underwater. It's just crazy.
Yeah, Adam brought me there once. Actually, the first time that I went to Fort Myers to visit him, it was the second time we had ever met, and he took me to Sanibel Island to see it. He was trying to impress me, so he was taking me to all the places.
Well, it is a really nice place to visit, or it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was really crazy here. I mean, we got really blessed in a way. I learned this week that you can have gratitude and frustration and pain, I guess, at the same time, right? I mean, I'm really grateful that our family still has our home. We are all safe. We have power finally. Like that just happened. We just got power back.
That's crazy. I can't believe. What were you guys doing for lights?
Well, so we had a flashlight, right? My husband is like the tool man, right? He has all the tools because he's a plumber and he wants all the top of the line tools. So he had this one like really bright, like cop bright flashlight, right? And he had like 4 batteries for it. So we slept with the flashlight on in the living room and we played. I learned something new about my husband this week. He's a savage when it comes to Monopoly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we played Monopoly and we played Scrabble, it was cool that I got to spend a lot of quality time with my kids. For that, I'm grateful. It's just there's so much loss around me. I can feel it. I can feel, and a lot of people that I know have completely lost everything. So you just feel their pain. I guess that's really the hard part.
Yeah, it's so sad. Like I was watching like some videos and stuff, and Adam was just so worried about his friends and stuff there, and where he lived, literally the house he lived in was like like it was underwater. It's crazy, like 2 stories, like it's done. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So you quite literally saved his life,
Yes.
right?
Yes, he should be so grateful. Actually, I'm gonna I want to like give props to him actually. So our 1-year wedding anniversary is October 10th, and he bought me a beautiful anniversary band
Aww,
to
that's
go
beautiful.
with my ring. So he spoiled me. I was not expecting. So yeah, so it was really, really cool. So he did good. So he always says, "You never say I do anything good." So I'm telling the whole world, my husband, he hit a home run. He did wonderful.
Yes, that is a home run. Good job, Adam.
Yeah.
Diamond rings are a woman's best friend.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes.
Hey, Brandon. Brandon is one of your friends on Facebook too, isn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Brandon is awesome. Brandon's got quite a story too. So, yep. Yeah, we need to get you guys to, come on and tell your testimonies on our YouTube channels,
Yes, I would
right?
love that. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I've been trying to kind of keep it like real people that tell their stories on my YouTube channel. I mean, I love the idea of people bringing their story. That's really where the hope is, right? Like
Mm,
if they can do it, then we can do it too. I really like to share that.
absolutely. And the fact that there's so many different ways. There are so many different ways. I mean, if some people are turned off by one way, well, guess what? There's, 25,000 other ways to get sober. So,
Yeah, I love that you say that because I've really been getting schooled on this in the last, like, I don't know, since I started joining the recovery community online, I've learned so much about different paths to recovery. And especially since I've started working this new job, like, we support all paths to recovery, whatever way you're getting there, like, just get there. That's all that matters because there's too many people out here that are losing the battle, and especially right now is like there's not been a more important time to support people in their journey of recovery, no matter what journey they're taking.
absolutely, absolutely. And I feel like, it's so hard, even for me. So I was brought up in the 12-step abstinence-based community where we
Hmm.
are taught it is all or nothing, right? That's where
Hmm.
it is ingrained. Either work the steps or die, right? Like,
Yeah.
you don't do this, you don't do that. No, no, no. Follow these traditions, like blah blah blah. And the craziest thing, it was the person who at the time I couldn't stand the most, which was my baby daddy, who we're much better now. But at that time, he had started taking Suboxone. And I was like, oh, here we go. He's just going to be doing one thing, trading one thing for another. Da, da, da. He's just trying to get high, blah, blah, blah. Right. That was my mindset. And the craziest thing happened after, it took maybe like 60 days. Something happened. He started paying his child support and he started working, like, making money and taking care of his children and being a dad and being around and being responsible and, was out of that compulsive, addictive behavior.
Hmm.
And I was like, what is going on? Like, I was so surprised. So he was truly the one that taught me about Suboxone and about multiple pathways in recovery. And I didn't even like him at the time, but I had to accept, the fact that, hey, whatever this guy is doing is working.
Right.
And that is what opened my eyes and opened my mind to multiple pathways.
Right. And I love that. And I think for me, the thing is just like loving people where they're at. That's really what I've been learning lately is no matter where you're at on your journey, like I just want to love you where you're at and for who you are, wherever that may be. And if no matter what path you choose, I just hope that on that path you go on the path of self-discovery. Because for me, that's really what has changed my life is looking within. I think that's what matters the most is addressing those inner issues. And I read something recently that says recovery is a process of change through something like self-awareness and a self-directed life. Did I
Mm.
get that right? Do you know what I'm talking about? That's the actual like
Mhm.
definition of recovery.
Mhm. Yes. 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 Hi, Crystal. Crystal from YouTube.
Yes, I love this girl. She's always commenting on here.
Thank you, Crystal, for all your support in the YouTube family. We're hoping to grow
Mhm.
this YouTube family a little bit more.
Yes. Yeah, I think we're good for Friday, just so you know too.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I think so. You have to work at like 2:15. So anytime before that.
Perfect.
Sweet.
All right. So if you guys have any like recovery related questions or topics that you want to talk about, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We can share some of our experience or answer questions or talk about whatever.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, Captain Andy, that's my pastor.
Oh, hi. So nice to meet you. Maybe I'll get to come visit church when we come there.
Yes. Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to come. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're super excited. We're super excited. Jared Edwards, love from New Orleans, looking to complete my first month. That is awesome. And New
Yes,
Orleans, what a place to get sober.
for real.
Good for you, Jared. Me and Adam are coming to Monroe, Louisiana, and we are speaking at Keith McKnight and Josh Maduro's ministry out there. I can't remember what the name is off the top of my head, but so we will be out there in November. We're really, really excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been to New Orleans once. It was a very long time ago, but I do remember that everybody out there loves to party.
Yeah.
I wasn't partying age yet though. I was with my mom and we came back with mask. It was fun, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's a thing up there.
Yes, I've never been. I heard before, before it got didn't like a
Yes,
hurricane.
Katrina.
Yeah,
Mhm.
destroyed it. I know some people who partied out there before that, and they said it was crazy.
Yes. Girls walking around topless and beads and masks and all
Mhm.
kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he says, I'm aware my body isn't doing well. I know I need detox, no drugs, just booze, but all I want to do is grab another one first thing because I can't handle the shakes and the sweats anymore. I have reached out with no help. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that. And honestly, it's very dangerous to detox off of alcohol. I mean, just putting it down really isn't an option. I feel like the best thing to do would be to go get some medical assistance, go to the hospital or something, because it can be really dangerous to detox from alcohol.
Yes, please go to because you can die from that. So of course it's so hard. Like I mean it would be so much better for you if you would just go ahead and go to a hospital or a detox facility for sure.
Hmm.
I don't know what area you're in, but you could always start with the hospital. If you don't want to do that, I think you can call like United Way and they can direct you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could put yourself under like a Marchman Act or a Baker Act at the hospital and they'll keep you for a few days. Yeah. And Nivek, I hope I'm saying that right. I see you on here all the time. Nivek says you just reached out here, and you are absolutely right about that.
That's
That
right.
is the first step.
Oh, Jeff, you're in Canada. Don't you guys get like free detox in Canada? Is that correct from what I know?
That's what I heard
Um
too.
yeah, if that's the case, like go do that.
Hmm.
Don't like go to a nice place, a nice detox place where you can be comfortable in your detox because doing detox uncomfortably really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially a dangerous detox like alcohol or Xanax.
Yeah. And they'll give you stuff there that'll help you to get through it. I think they give you like vitamins and they take your blood pressure constantly to make sure that you're not in the danger zone. And I think there's other medications that they give you. I'm not sure what they all are. I remember when I went through detox, they just gave me a bunch of medications and I took them all, but whatever they were helping me. They helped me get through it.
Absolutely. And Jeff, they'll give you some like a prescription for antabuse. So when you get out, you can't drink. So that
Yes.
will help. Yeah. And Crystal, the comments, you can't see them because we're on the program that we are on right now. It shows from every platform. So we're on Facebook and YouTube. So that's why you can't see the comments.
Yes, but we are so glad that you're here. You might be like one of my only followers on YouTube, so I'm so glad that you are here.
Yes. Please keep coming back.
Yes. Okay, we've got Sarah says, I never understood addiction until I was in a relationship with an addict. He wasn't in active addiction when we got together, but that is a tough time in my life. As much as I wanted to help him, making doctor's appointment, detox treatment, he had to make the change. Sad to say, he never got to recovery on his own. He is in prison for 36 years now. It's so refreshing to see that recovery happens for so many. Man, that's a bummer. I mean, that's really a shame that he had to go to prison for so long, but I'm glad that at least he's sober now.
Safe. I mean, in a
Hmm.
sense, that's 36 years. Oh, I
That's a lot.
know. I bet he wished that he listened to your suggestions, I'm sure.
Right.
But just know, Sarah, that you did what you could. You poured into his life. I mean, there's only so much you can do. You're absolutely right. It has to be, the person's idea, right? Like you
Hmm.
were saying, right? Recovery is self-directed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and
Yeah.
that's what we do as recovery coaches. We assist, right, at with your self-directed goals. I mean, that's
Hmm.
what that's what we do.
Right. Yeah. Okay, Stacy says her son got arrested for his drug of choice is meth, and he is 24. Is there anything she can do to get the court to keep him locked up so he can get clean?
Yep.
Well, I could tell you this. When I got arrested, my mom wrote the judge a letter and begged him to help me. And, I think in those situations, it really comes down to like what the charges are and all that kind of stuff based on what the judge can do. But I certainly think writing a letter would help.
Absolutely. Writing a letter. Yes, for sure.
Hmm.
For sure. I mean, judges, I don't know what state you're in, but a lot of the states and counties, nowadays are, gearing toward treatment and rehabilitation over prison time. So,
Yeah, and hopefully that will continue to happen because I watched something today. When the World Trade Center hit in 2001, they talked about how many people that wiped out, and right now, like the opiate epidemic this year has knocked out like that many people. So like, what
wow.
are we doing about it? But I do feel like there is a shift happening. So hopefully this getting people with rehab centers and will help. Hopefully we're moving in the right direction. I'm hopeful for that anyways.
Mhm. Right, right. And the government's doing their jobs too. There's a lot of bills, house bills and things like that are being passed. We just passed one here in Georgia where mental health and addiction is now considered like a health care issue. So the same as if you broke your leg
Mhm.
is the same as addiction and mental health. Now
Thank
you
God.
go and they have to treat you and it has to be covered under insurance.
Oh, thank God. That's
Mhm.
awesome. Yeah, I hope they do that here.
Yes.
Okay, Heather says, I'm 7 months sober from alcohol and I'm suffering with major depression, but still faithfully keeping my sobriety because I know it's the only way I'm going to make it through. Yes, you're right. It is the only way that you're going to make it through. And I think it's kind of common in the beginning when your brain is getting rewired, right? Because we burned up so many of these pathways in our brain for so long and sucked out all the serotonin and the dopamine with the drugs and alcohol. And then when we get clean, like, we are depleted of everything. So I think it takes some
Mhm.
time, but I love that you said that you're faithfully keeping your sobriety because it does get better, like they say, like this too shall pass. I know I used to hate to hear that, but it is true, it will if you just keep showing up for yourself, like those things do start to work themselves out.
Right. And take that self-care too, right? That's a big thing. What makes you happy? Like what kind of things bring you peace and joy? So
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. All right. Congratulations, Candace, on 1 year clean last week.
awesome. Awesome.
All right. Crystal commented this on our video, I think last week or the week before, too. So I thought maybe we could just touch on it for a minute. She says her mom is bad on drugs and she wishes every day that she will get sober. So, I feel like what you're doing, Crystal, by being sober yourself is literally the best thing that you can do for your mom because she sees it happening for you. And whether or not she wants it at this point in time, she's still seeing it happen for you. And, I just know for me, I saw an addict recovering when I was in my addiction. And I didn't know that I wanted to recover, but I really believed that recovery was possible because I saw that they were recovering. And you are doing that for her right now. And never underestimate the power of prayer because I'm telling you right now, our prayers are powerful. And if you just keep praying for her and keep showing and leading by example, then hopefully one of these days she will come around. And when she does, I bet you she knows who to call.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Amelia just hit 2 months clean. Congratulations. Yes.
Yay.
That's
That's
awesome.
exciting.
Yes. Oh, here we go. This is Amelia. She's struggling with depression too. Counseling and church helps for me.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. I love that you said that because I think what it really is like that connection, right? Like being able to connect with somebody else and telling them how you're feeling, just getting those feelings out of yourself, and then being connected like in your church group. And, that's so important. So I love that you're doing that.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. I think this is Stacy, whose son that we were just talking about a minute ago. She says, Indiana, he has been arrested and released over and over. He was sober over a year ago, but came back to Bloomington when I advised him not to.
Yeah, then definitely talk to the judge because that is a reoccurring. So it shows that it's a substance problem and not just a criminal problem.
Right. Good point. All right. This is my friend Amanda. Hey, Amanda. How are you doing tonight? She was on with us a few weeks ago, too.
Cool. Hi, Amanda. Is she from where you are?
She's originally from where I'm from, but now she doesn't live here anymore. She joined the military many years ago, actually. And I want to say she's living in South Carolina now. Yeah.
Wow. So she's a badass.
Yes, she's a badass.
I love military chicks. They're just like, they're like my idols. I was too scared to go to boot camp, but
Right?
yeah.
Okay, Shelly says 4 years. I lost everything, and I just want everyone to know that anything is possible if you want it. Changing your people, places, and things is so important. I wish everyone the best of luck. The fight is real, but it is possible and so worth it. Life is so much better being sober. Prayers for everyone. I love that.
Thank you, Shelly. Thank you.
That's
That is
awesome.
awesome.
It's so true too. I mean, like you gotta want this like as bad as you want it, the dope, you gotta want recovery like that bad. Like I've shared this so many times, and like what I was willing to do in the hurricane was literally not this hurricane, the last one, was
Mm,
literally go out in the hurricane to go get my drug of choice because I needed to get well. Now I gotta have that kind of energy for recovery. I
right.
can share this with you. Like I've been kind of going through it a little bit emotionally these last couple of weeks. Like I do a lot of service work in the community. um, and I've recently got a job where it's kind of like doing service work, but it's a job, so it's kind of like weird for me. But I've realized like my cup is kind of empty, and I need to fill my cup. So
Mm,
going and being around other people is how I do that. So I've committed to myself that I'm going to start reconnecting a little bit more and putting myself out there. I can't even remember where I was going with this, but anyways, filling my cup.
yes. Yes. And that's intentional. Once you get a couple years in sobriety, you kind of gotta Be intentional
Mhm.
on that for
Right.
sure. Mhm.
Yeah, I think what I was gonna say is like, putting that energy into my recovery, you know what I mean? Like everything is going great, but I've been a little complacent, so I need to put that energy back into my recovery.
Yes, yes, yes. Ever changing, ever growing.
Mhm.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Yes, Casey, we support Celebrate Recovery.
Yes. Support
Yes.
any recovery, all
Mhm.
recovery.
Yes, yes, yes.
Please drop the StreamYard link. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that, to be honest. I'm like a new StreamYard user, so
We both are.
listen, I just figured out how to turn
Uh,
the sound on before we got on, so
yeah, yeah.
okay. I wish I could see your name, but for some reason it's not showing me. It says I've been at a point of carrying a resentment. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. I can't seem to remember. Some things are out of my control. Got any pointers for me? Resentments.
Hmm.
Well, do you know who the resentment is against?
Right. Also, you're talking about things that are out of your control, like, one thing that they used to tell us is like whatever's in your hula hoop is the only thing. So if you like put a hula hoop around you, like the only thing in that hula hoop is what you can control.
Mhm.
So anything else out of there, you have to kind of give it to God and kind of accept that this is like where it is. As far as like resentment goes, okay, for me, what I did with resentment is I did this thing called like Holy Spirit ministering. Okay. So it was like I would think of the resentment, say, okay, I was mad at my mom because she wouldn't let me see my kids, right? Well, what did that make me feel like? I guess it was rejection, right? I felt like she was rejecting me. Well, let me go back to the first time. Let me meditate and pray on the first time I was ever rejected. And
Mhm.
let's see where that is. And let's ask God and let's ask the Holy Spirit to shine light on that event to show me truth in that. And what it was is it was my mom telling me, "I wish you were never born," when I was, like, 2
Mhm.
years old, okay? That was the first time I ever felt rejected by her, and then the Lord showed me her being 17 years old with a baby, right? Unable to handle her own emotion because she was just a broken child, right?
Mhm.
So I was able to have empathy on her through that, therefore breaking the resentment. I hope that wasn't too deep.
I love that. So I like that story and the way that you looked into the feeling behind it, right? Because when I worked on my resentments, I did what my resentment was, why I had a resentment, how that affected me, but what was my part in that resentment? Without considering what their part was. Like what role did I play in the relationship? And I also had a resentment against my mom for keeping my kids away from me. And the reason that she kept my kids away from me is because I was using drugs, and that was my part in that resentment. So when I was able to see that she was actually keeping my kids safe, not trying to keep them away from me, she was
Mhm,
keeping them safe because I
mhm.
was unsafe. And she never really wanted to keep my kids in the first place, but thankfully she did. So when I was able to acknowledge that, like it really helped me to let go of that resentment for her. But there
Right.
were some resentments that I had that I wasn't able to just really get rid of right away. And for those ones, like I had to pray for. And I had one in particular that I had a resentment against that I was told to pray for this person every day for 30 days. On the 28th day, I shit you not, this person went to jail and has never been out since. I was scared of this person because of the stuff that they did to me. It's the guy that we always talk about, right?
Mhm.
And I was scared of him because of what he had done to me. So I was getting out of treatment and I was scared that I was going to run into him. So I was told to pray for him for 30 days. And on the 28th day, I'm telling you, this man went to jail and he has never been back out since. So tell me prayer ain't powerful, and you
Right.
got to do it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, we got somebody here saying, I'm teaching in step 5 tonight, admitted to God, to myself, to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs tonight in recovery. Have any advice or areas that I should highlight in this teaching?
The exact nature,
Mm-hmm.
so what we were just talking about, like the true, feeling and where did that come from? There's so much in step 5. Gosh, it's like so much. Also, the boldness and courage, praying beforehand for the boldness and courage to admit
Yes.
everything. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. That's so true. Like admitting is so powerful, right? It's actually in the steps 3 times, in the first step, in the 5th step, and in the 10th step, I believe. But like that's the first step to changing anything, right? You have to become aware and you have to admit it. Once you become aware and you admit it, then you have the option to change things. But I feel like the 5th step is like a way of, you know, kind of like saying it out loud to another human being with God, in the presence of God, is like a way of finding forgiveness, right, within ourselves. And, the principle behind 5 is, I think it's integrity, right? But I feel like it should be freedom,
Mm,
because when I finished step 5, like I felt a freedom because I had been carrying around all of this luggage, right? All this baggage of everything that I had been through. And just admitting that these things had happened and saying them out loud to somebody else who related back to me made me able to let go of so much shame and guilt, and things that I thought were my fault that were not my fault. Things that made me feel like I was weird and crazy and like, unique. Come to find out I'm not so unique. Come to
mhm,
find out people identify with me. The lady that I shared it with had been through a lot of the same things that I've been through. So for me, like that, 4 and 5 were the keys to my freedom. Like that was my first spiritual awakening, right? And so, yeah. And I think also like the exact nature, like you were saying, like, where is the root of all of my resentments, the root of my addiction, the root of my problems? For me, it's fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, loneliness. I grew up as an only child. My dad walked out of the picture when I was younger, and I thought that every man behind him was going to leave me or hurt me. So instead of giving them the opportunity to do that, I decided I was going to hurt them first. I was going to take advantage of them first. And when I was able to discover that, right, and find the pattern, because there's a pattern. It started with my dad and then another man that did
mhm,
something bad to me, and that started the pattern. So once I was able to identify the pattern, the exact nature of it, now I'm able to change it and to do things differently today because I have the awareness, right? So, and then 6 is awareness. So there you go. But
right,
yeah,
absolutely. And just reminding them too that you will feel 50 pounds lighter when you're done with this.
yes. So true. I mean,
Yeah,
it's all already happened, so it's
yeah.
just admitting that it's happened, and it helps so much to let it go. All right. I've been watching you guys for a while, but always seem to miss when you actually go live. But I'm always go back and watch them. Oh, thank you, Melanie.
Awesome.
Okay. Julie said, "What are we discussing?" We're discussing whatever you want to discuss.
Right.
Drop a topic in the comments and we'll talk
Yes,
about it.
absolutely.
Depression is a major problem in recovery, Candace says, trying to find happiness again. I do meetings and church to help battle depression. I need the connections. I also do a lot of praying. Then, once the gifts of recovery start coming, the bad days are getting easier to deal with. In the year, I have got my daughter back after her being in foster care for 2 years. Wow. I'm so proud of you. That is just amazing. I'm so proud of you.
And that's hard, getting your kids back after they've been gone and trying to readjust to being a mom dealing with the guilt and shame of it all. So I would try to think about in depression, Candace, what exactly is causing your depression? Is it guilt and shame for the things that happen? Or is it just something like, is it clinical where you maybe need to talk to a professional and get on medication? Or is it something you're holding on to regarding not having your children?
Mhm. Yeah. I definitely held on to that for a long time. I specifically remember telling my sponsor at the time, I'm not going to be able to forgive myself until my kids come home. And they did eventually. And even then it was still hard because things weren't like it wasn't like a magical light switch, like a flip of the light switch and everything was good. Like they came home and then I had more work to do. So it wasn't
Mhm.
like what I thought it was going to be, but it did get better. And I think sometimes, like, just being of service to others, like, sometimes you have to get outside of yourself, right? So maybe that would help a little bit too. Doing esteemable acts for other people always seem to make me feel really good.
Absolutely. Service for others. Yes. Get
Mhm.
outside of your head. Absolutely.
All right. And that so a few minutes ago, you had told that story about your resentment, and they just said you told my story.
Ah, awesome. Wow. That's so cool.
Brandon, be more specific on your question. Says, can you tell me how you're trying to help them? Okay. And we'll come back to that. Okay. Michael Harvey says 4.5 years clean, and I live in a border town, and it's insane to see people in active addiction I used to be friends with. It's my biggest struggle. I want to help them get to get what I have, and I know it's up to them, but I keep falling for their BS. Any advice on how to help them without getting taken for granted? Because at this point, I don't even want to take a chance, and it feels wrong to not want to help others at all.
Are you helping them by giving them money?
Good
Just
question.
just wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Brandon, that's what you were asking.
Okay. Okay, we're on the
Yeah.
same page.
Enabling them. Exactly. Like, are you maybe okay, so you're not giving them money. Okay. So you feel like maybe they're just telling you the same song and dance, but not wanting to change.
Right. I don't know. I feel like for me, I've learned this from trial and error, right? Like I
Mhm.
have boundaries for myself on how I help people. If somebody really wants recovery, like they're going to go after it like I went after it. So what I will do is I will tell somebody resources, right? Like if they need to get into detox, they need to get into treatment, I'll give you the phone number, I'll tell you who to call, when to call,
Mhm.
but I won't call for you.
Right.
If you want to go to a meeting, like I'll meet you at a meeting, but I don't really pick people up that are in active addiction to take them to a meeting, but I'll meet them
Right.
there.
Yes.
I'll take your phone call, like I'll do those things, but I don't put myself in harm's way to do it. And I honest to God, I've learned that from making mistakes. So sometimes like for me, I had to be burned a couple of times before I realized that you got to help instead of hinder, because what I learned is that I was hindering people from being able to do the right thing. Like I was picking people up, taking them to all the meetings, had 5 people in my car every time that I would go to a meeting, and I was hindering them from finding their own path to recovery. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep. Yep. And yeah, and look, I can attest to that getting burned. Look, my ex-husband was coming. He was coming to Athens at one point. He was like trying to do good. He said he was going to stop using blah blah blah. And so he like came up he got like a tax return or something and got like 12 nights in this hotel room in Athens, right? And I was like, okay, you can like, come meet me at a meeting, you can, and I even let him come. I was living at the sober living. Oh my goodness, I've never told anyone this. I was living at the sober living at the time. Okay. I had my own apartment and I was like chairing a celebrate recovery meeting or something, but I told him he could come over and he could stay at my house while I went to the meeting. Well, I came home and he was smoking meth. In my apartment at the sober living. And he's like, "What? I kept my meth pipe in the car till you were gone." I'm like, "No,
Oh my God.
no, get out."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely learned the hard way too. I mean, I was on like felony probation, right? So I had to be really careful. Like I was taking everybody to, I literally had 5 people in my car every time I went to a meeting. And then after talking to some of my support network and then realizing that I wasn't helping, it was actually hindering. And if they weren't clean, they could leave drugs in my car. I would go to jail, I would go to prison, and then what?
Mhm.
They would be fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, had to learn the hard way.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Julie says, gotcha. Thanks. Finding happiness is tough for me. I don't, as married to a narcissist for 15 years. Oh, that sucks. Thing
Mm.
is, I don't know what he was. He walked out on me with 3 kids 3 times, went into business with another female, lasted 3 months. He died in 13. I have trust issues. Wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Not every guy is like that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe looking at your patterns of the men that you pick. I
Yeah.
had to do that. They always used to tell me like, change the name, change the face, you're dating the same guy. I was like, what are you talking about? And then I went and like did like a worksheet on it and I was like, holy crap, I really am dating the same guy.
Yeah, that's very, and like the best thing to prevent that is like time, right? Like give this
Mhm.
dude some time and
Yeah.
see if he really is willing to wait on you. Like let the next guy take you out on dates and like do it the right way. If he really likes you, like he'll wait on you. And if
Yes.
he is willing to wait, that's a very good sign.
Mhm.
It's hard with a narcissist, man, because they are like everything you think you want in the beginning. They tell you everything you want to hear and they're so sweet, and the next thing you know, it all gets flipped around. So it's really hard because you fall in love with this facade of who you thought they were, but they're actually not that person. So having to convince yourself that that's not who they are is really difficult.
Yep. It takes 6 months, they say, for people to take their masks off.
There you go. 6 months timeline on the next one.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. Over 4 years clean, sober, and gambling free. Awesome.
Cool.
But no one told me it was going to be so, so lonely. I feel like an outsider, even at meetings. How do you deal with losing your friends that are still in active addiction? That's tough.
It is. And the truth is, uh, it is lonelier in recovery, but for me, I have other things that fulfill me now. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have a relationship with God, and
Mhm.
that to me is like the codependency I used to have on having friends. Like I have this interdependency on God now.
Mhm.
My priorities are a little different. So now I try to spend time with my kids or spend time on my
Mhm.
goals, my future goals, or figuring out what they're gonna be, right? Like rather than spending time with it's good to have friends. It's good to have 2, 3 good friends. I've got like about 2. uh, you know, um, so yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, the thing is, like, if you could just find like a couple of friends, like that's all you need. Like, you don't need a million friends. And when we were in our addiction, like we knew everybody, we were hanging out. There was so much chaos. There was always something going on. So it seemed like a lot more exciting. And in recovery, there's a lot more peace, which maybe feels like boredom. But just finding those things that you like to do, right? Like exercising or building a relationship with your higher power, like that's the best thing, that like the most fulfilling thing, I mean, that we can do to not feel lonely, because we're never alone with our higher power you
Right.
know and just finding those things, like what does Brittany like to do? Maybe Brittany can challenge herself to find out what that is, and that will help you to feel less lonely. I had to do that for myself too.
Yeah, and maybe take a period to like dedicate yourself. Like I literally like chased down God, like I chased down my Roxy's. Um
Yes.
and like it says seek first the kingdom of God and all other things will be added to you. So maybe just like seek a relationship with your higher power. You can be straight up, be like, God, I don't even think about me. I don't even know if you like me, bro. Do you even like
Hmm.
me? I'm not sure, but I'm trying to get to know you. I'm trying to be vulnerable here. So if you
Yes.
could just come talk to me, that'd be cool. Just be totally straight up.
Yes, I love that because you don't have to like speak in some sort of crazy prayer, thee, thou, will language. Just be you. Like, just say how you feel. Like, God can handle it. Just whatever you
Yeah,
think or feel, say it. God is cool with it because He already knows you thinking it anyways.
exactly. Yeah. If you don't like him, tell him you don't like him. Look, I don't even like you, but I'm going to
Yeah.
talk to you right now. Okay. Like, be
Yeah.
straight up with him.
Yes. Okay. I can't see your name, but I do see that you're 3 years clean from a pain pill addiction. Congratulations. That's awesome.
That is so awesome. Good job getting off those pain pills.
Yes. Okay, Melanie says, all right, we only have a few minutes left, so I'll probably do these last two, and then that's probably it for tonight. Because, yeah. Okay. So when you say shame and guilt, okay, so this is my issue. I have 4 young children. My spouse is completely clean. Never really got into addiction, don't really understand it. So with that being said, it's hard for me to take that first step to get help because as I mentioned, I have 4 kids, 6 down to 8 months and 2 boys, 2 girls. I've been in addiction for over 7 or 8 years, and now it's to the point where I use it as a crutch to keep up with my daily life. But what's holding me back is I can't not. Okay, because you have kids and everything going on in your life. Like I get what you're saying. You can't not do it because you have kids to take care of.
What are you addicted to? What are you using? Would be my question. Just wondering because um you know I get it because you think that it's helping you, but man, Melanie, I bet you would be so
Mhm.
much more present and have such a stronger relationship with your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could, um, so there was more. It didn't show it though. What, Melanie? What are you stuck on? So we can kind of better assess how to move forward here. And what do you want to do? I mean, do you want to be off of it, or I mean, black and
Black
mess?
and that's and what Jamie said is absolutely right. Like I'm sure of it that you're not being present with your kids because when I was doing it, like I was thinking about it, I was doing it, or I was trying to hide it from somebody. So being present with my kids was not happening, and I thought I was keeping up with things, but I wasn't, and it was affecting everybody around me, taking a toll on me as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and okay, sorry, I don't not sound trying to sound stupid, but black is
Is boy. I'm
okay.
thinking.
Okay, got it, got it. Oh, yeah, that is hard. I'm seeing more and more moms who are in this cycle, right?
Mhm.
And it just takes so much time to do it though. And you got how many kids you got? 4 kids? I don't even know how you're managing, like the actual act of doing it and taking
Mhm.
care of your kids at the same time. That is, I mean, props to you, Melanie, for being able to hold it down so far because that's hard. Now, does your husband
I think
know?
it's I think it said that he is completely clean.
Okay, he's completely
Sh
seen, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
She wants better. She wants to be better for her kids. She's just so scared for them to be sad. Well, here's the thing about that. I mean, we're talking about maybe like, getting some help, going to some meetings, talking to somebody, getting some sort of help from somewhere, and actually, your kids may not understand in the beginning, but the good thing is that they'll get their mom back,
yes,
and they'll be
yes.
happy for that.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. And it's just a small sliver of time compared to you've got them for the rest of their life.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but if
and
you
the
keep messing sorry.
no, go
If
ahead.
if you keep I ain't trying to be like doomsday, but you keep messing around with this, messing around with, you might not be here for them. So, you know,
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, and it's if you're manageable right now, I mean, that's something you can't be manageable on for very long. So even if it is manageable now, it sounds to me like the shame and guilt is already eating you up, but the unmanageability in your life will come soon too. So the sooner you get it taken care of and go get some help, the better off. And you'll be so glad you did on the other side. I mean, it's a temporary sacrifice, like Jamie said, for a permanent, beautiful outcome of a future. You have a family, and just being there for them, like that makes it all worth it. Just that alone.
Absolutely. And Jeff, look at this. Did you see this right here? I made a phone call, and as long as I'm there by 11 a.m., I can get a bed.
Oh my God, I'm so glad to hear that. Oh, that just made my night, Jeff.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
please follow up with us on this. I want to hear that you did it and how you were
Absolutely.
doing when you get out. We'll be praying for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Okay. Justin says, my favorite speaker says I suffer from alcoholism and drug addiction when I stop using chemicals. The disease has nothing to do with the substances we put in our body. It has everything to do with our thinking. We become so accustomed to the way that we think about everything. It's our operating system. The drugs and alcohol were our solution. Have you ever heard words with somebody and think about it for days, change what you said and change the way they said you should have said it, that said this, that's the kind of. Oh, so it's cutting off the end of the comments.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
he did say 8 years sober, went to first meeting when he was 17, got sober at 53. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Congratulations.
Yes, and it is our way of thinking, and substances are just a byproduct of
Mm-hmm.
our disease. So we
Yep.
could be in addiction with anything. We could be in addiction with diet pills, we can be in addiction with food, we can be gambling, I mean, sex, you name
Exercise,
it. Exercise.
supplements.
Supplements. Oh god, that's one of mine too.
Me too. Okay, so it is 8 o'clock. So
Mhm.
listen, every single Monday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., we come live together. 1 week we're on my page, 1 week we're on Jamie's page. So next week we're going to be on Jamie's page. I seen somebody comment on here asking when we go live. So next week, same time, different place. Check Jamie's page next Monday at 7 p.m. And also, if you guys could go subscribe to our YouTube.
Yes.
Jamie's is Jamie Tall, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes. And mine is Hope Shot. So I hope you guys will subscribe and come back
Yes.
again next week.
Yes.
Oh, Christy said, you're one of my biggest reasons I went to rehab. I love that so much.
Awesome.
This
Awesome.
is why we do it.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Please support us. Subscribe to our YouTube channels. We're trying to grow our community on there to reach more people. Can I send you a friend request? Christy Button. I will try to. I'm trying to look at your face. Look at the profile picture. I will do my best. If not,
Yes.
send me one.
Yes. All right. And so, yeah, we're Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in Vegas, it will be 4 p.m. So 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Jamie's page next week. I'll see you guys there. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay. Bye.